Hello, welcome back. This is episode 26 of the Alfology2 podcast. So, hello, and you are very much welcome here. Thanks for listening last week. That was a good episode, good feedback from everybody, plenty of listens, so pleased about that. If you haven't tuned in yet, do go and tune in. In fact, go and tune into some previous episodes as well. As you may be able to hear through the audio quality of this, I am outside. And there's a bit of wildlife noise in the background, and you might hear some planes overhead and some cars and just general noises of life. That's just because I'm over in Australia for a couple of weeks, and the place where I'm staying doesn't have particularly good acoustics. It's very much made out of wood, so lots of echoing. So I'm out here doing the recording outside in the back garden. So apologies if there's a bit of background noise. I'll try and sort it out afterwards in post-production. Other than that, I think we're pretty much good to go. But just before we get going, I'd just like to extend my apologies to Johnny, who was supposed to record this episode with me, but as a result of me being on the other side of the world, that's not been possible. And he did contribute some of the ideas to this one. So credits to Johnny for that one. Look, the idea for the podcast this week is tactics and etiquette for being in pubs. So how you're supposed to behave in a pub in terms of the etiquette from a customer's perspective. So it's how the customer should behave, not necessarily the staff. And tactics to make the most out of your visits to the pub. Pub being a very sort of, I guess, not quite a British and Irish thing, but obviously there are pubs and bars worldwide. And I don't know if some of these ideas are particularly linked to Britishness. You don't have really the experience overseas to work that out. But we'll dive in and we'll see how you get on it. If you're an experienced sort of pub goer, you might find these quite relatable. If you're not, then you might learn something. So good reasons to listen on both counts there. So we'll dive straight in. I have a big list of etiquettes and tactics. I've made a list here that I have written in front of me. Some of them are based on etiquette, some of them are based on tactics. So I will just read them to you and explain what they mean and what I think about them, and that will be pretty much all the content for this week. The first is definitely tactics, and the idea actually came from a show which Dave Gorman, the comedian, was doing on Dave. And during his show, he explains what the best way is to queue for the bar. Because the truth is, particularly in the United Kingdom, that we're very good at queuing. But it's one of the things that British people are known for. But that just goes completely out the window when you get into a bar. It's extremely weird if there's someone queuing for the bar in a straight line. It just looks wrong. It's basically just a big free for all. We're all drinking. We're all. We all know the rules. You've just got to push your way to the front, and there's a number of tactics to do that. So the first one is to angle your shoulders so that people can't get by you. So if there's someone standing behind you in the queue and they look like they're going to get by, if you sort of push your shoulder in front of them and put it across them, you can block off their way to the bar. You can block off any potential gaps in the huddle around the bar, and then protect your own interests so you can get to the bar quicker. So that's a good tactic. Not such great etiquette for the people around you, but it is effective and you do get your drinks quicker. And along those same lines is putting your hand on the bar. And putting your hand on the bar does two things. First of all, it allows you to sort of pull yourself into the bar if there's a gap. And second of all, it allows you to put your hand across the queue so that no one can move in front of you. Once your hand's on the bar, no one can move into that space where your arm is, nor can they move across it into another gap. So once you've got your hand on the bar, all you have to do is pull yourself in and just attempt to make eye contact with the barman. That's the game from there. Once you've used your shoulder to block off the person behind you, you've put your hand on the bar, so you've blocked off all the space that anyone else could exploit to get their own drink, and then it's all attempting to make eye contact with the barman. Of course, if you are not a prick and there's somebody else who's got there before you, you might let them take the next space in the queue. But all is fair in love and war, so realistically you have no obligation to do that. It's just whether you're a cunt or not. That's the only thing that would govern over that. So that's your first little bit of tactic. this is etiquette and tactics, the second one, so it feeds into both, and it's about like when you get your round in. So personally, I think that you should get your round in early. So if you're with a group of people, you should buy them all a drink first when you get there. A number of reasons for that. First of all, big respect for doing that. Everyone always likes the bloke who bought the first round, and it just removes the pressure, really. Like, once you've got your drink in, and you're then under no pressure for another good couple of hours to get another drink in. If you get your round in sort of towards the end, you're always thinking, oh, when's it going to be my round? When do I have to buy? What am I going to have to buy? What's everyone drinking? If you just get them in when you get there, then you're probably going to be grand for the whole time you're there. In addition, if you get the first round in, not everyone might be there by the time you get there, so you might have to buy a smaller round because there are still people in transit. So as a result, you get a cheaper round. So look, lots of respect for people who get their first round in. I would fully recommend that you do. However, there is also an argument, which I don't necessarily subscribe to, for getting your round in last, because people might have gone home, and as a result, your round would be smaller and therefore cheaper, and your round might not even come up at all. Something might happen during the evening or during the day, which means that the round system is broken, and therefore you don't have to get your round in at all. So, but really, if you do that, and you're the sort of person who holds on to buying your round for a couple of hours in the hope that you might not have to buy one, then chances are you're a dickhead. If you don't have the money, just say, like, if you're just doing it to be tight, then you're a prick. I'm sorry, that's just the rules. I don't make the rules, but you are a prick. And also, if you get your round in last, there's a considerable chance that people are going to be pissed by that point, and they're going to be ordering funky drinks. You can get yourself a nice pint of lager at the beginning for nice and cheap, but by the end, you might be buying double gin and tonics, which is going to cost you a lot more in the long run. So basically, what I'm saying is get your round in first, don't be a prick. Back to the etiquette side of things, like, don't try and shag the bar staff. Sorry, there was a ant on my hand. To blow it away. Yeah, don't try and shag the bar staff. Like, it's poor form. I think in general, hitting on people whilst they're at work is pretty poor form, because they don't have a choice. Like, by all means, talk to them, because it's kind of like a social job. But if you start hitting on them and, like, particularly touching them, it gets pretty weird. And that's their, they have to be there. They're contractually obliged to be nice to you, which I guess might give you the wrong signals. But yeah, just don't be a cunt. Don't hit on people whilst they're working. Like, it's not that difficult. But I don't want to talk too much about that, because it's quite a serious one, isn't it? It's not very jovial and light-hearted, which is the sort of point of this pod. So I'll quickly move on to another etiquette point, which is bring your glasses back to the bar. So once you've finished drinking and you go to get your next round, or you go to leave the pub, take your glasses back to the bar and put them there. It's little things like this that get staff on side for you, and if the staff are on side, then chances are they're going to be nicer to you. It allows you to, I guess, be a little bit more of a prick later on if you've had a few drinks. Like, if you've helped them out, they'll help you out, if that makes sense. Fuck off. Sorry, I'm being attacked by insects, which, that's what happens when you go to Australia, isn't it? Fucking wildlife just attacks you. Yeah, so look, bring your empty glasses back to the bar. Although I've been told that apparently it's really annoying for bar staff that if you do bring them back, if you stack them up, so if you've got like a big stack of pint glasses and you bring them back and put them on the bar, like, that really annoys them. I don't really understand why. Apparently you can crack them, although I've never seen that happen in my life. And I guess maybe it's a bit of a ball ache to unstack them. So yeah, that's a little tidbit for you. Make yourself popular by bringing the glasses back, and don't stack them. Every day is a school day, isn't it? Another bit of etiquette, and it is sort of tactics as well, I guess, because you can really fuck yourself up. Like, if you're ordering a pint of Guinness, which I definitely would, because Guinness is fucking class. Don't order it last. Order it straight up. As soon as you go to the bar, you're ordering around, order your Guinness first, because that allows them, i.e. the staff, to pour your Guinness and leave it to settle whilst they're making the rest of your round. If you order it last, then you basically have to wait an extra 2 minutes for your drinks. The bar staff have to do an extra 2 minutes worth of work, and everyone around you has to wait an extra 2 minutes for their drinks as well. So really, it fucks you up, so that's poor tactics, and it fucks everyone else up, so that's poor etiquette. Don't do it. Order your Guinness straight up. Speaking of Guinness, I've got a couple of fun facts for you about Guinness. So that you're supposed to leave it to settle. I think it's for like 119 seconds. That's the length of time you're supposed to leave a pint of Guinness partially poured. And obviously that's why it takes so long, and that's why you should order it first. Fun fact number one is that that's actually completely unnecessary. Since they changed to kegs, or at least a different type of keg in like the 50s, the whole needing to let Guinness settle thing is a lie. It doesn't exist, but they like it because it's good for their branding. But the ultimate thing is about the whole Guinness pouring thing is that it's a massive waste of time, such a massive waste of time that 30 years every day worldwide are wasted from people pouring Guinness and letting it settle. 30 years every day. That's how much time people will spend waiting for their pints. Think how much more we could accomplish in the world if we had an extra 30 years worth of sort of human time every day. Fucking nuts. If you do drink Guinness, I also got a good sort of thing for you to try, which proves very popular with sort of almost everyone who tries it. That if you get served in a proper Guinness glass, it will have a Guinness logo on the front, which is a harp with the word Guinness written underneath it. Obviously, Guinness has quite a pronounced head. It's a black drink with a white head. The game is to, in your first go, so it doesn't necessarily be your first sip, or one gulp. You can have as many gulps as you like, but it has to be your first go. You can't take it away from your mouth. You have to get the line where the black meets the white between the harp and the top of the Guinness sign. It's a very fun game. Like, I'd recommend it if you do drink Guinness, and even if you don't drink Guinness, like, buy a pint of Guinness and try it, or try it with your favourite drink in a Guinness glass. And if the local pub that you go to serves Guinness but doesn't serve it in a Guinness glass, then don't go there anymore. Go somewhere else and do it. It's an enjoyable game. Trust me, you'll have fun if you do it. So that's the whole Guinness thing. Don't order your Guinness last. But actually, ordering a Guinness last or first shouldn't really matter, because ultimately you should order all your drinks at the same time. If you order your drinks one at a time at a bar, really, you're a time waster. You're wasting everyone else's time at the bar and the staff's time and your own. Bar staff can make your drinks a lot quicker if you order them all at once. They don't get so annoyed because they don't have to keep on going to the till thinking they're finished and then finding out they're not. And the other customers get their drink quicker. It's just good etiquette. Order all your drinks at once. Know what you're going to order when you get to the bar and order it all at once. Obviously, there will be some potential exceptions where people come late or whatever. But ultimately, 90% of the time, people who order the drinks one at a time are just being pricks. Have better etiquette and order all your drinks at once, and the world will be a better place. Just let's continue along the theme of etiquette. I know this might not be so good for you if you're Scottish or from the north of England. Don't complain about the price of the drinks. No, sorry, that's harsh. That is harsh. You're only allowed, or you should only complain about the price of your first drink. Like, if you go somewhere and you buy a drink and it's more expensive than you're expecting, then you're allowed to have a little whinge about that. Fucking hell, is it £5.50 a pint in here? Oh my god, that's fucking shit. Yeah, fair enough. If you've already had one and you know it's £5.50 a pint, and you go back for a second one and it's again £5.50 a pint, and you complain about it, you're a knobhead. You're just complaining for the sake of complaining. The staff don't want to hear it. It's not up to them. No one else wants to hear it. It's not an interesting topic of conversation. Like, your friends aren't going to be interested by you. In fact, the chances are, if you're the sort of person who does relentlessly complain about the price of drinks, I'd say the chances are that you have no friends. You're a friendless, whinging cunt if you're like that. And I know that there'll be people who aren't cunts in the north and in Scotland who do that. So apologies to you, but you shouldn't do it either. Like, I know it's expensive, but you know it's expensive too. So when you go in there, you should know that it's going to be expensive. If it's more than you were expecting, fair play to have a whinge after your first one. It's a shock to the system. But once it's not a shock anymore, stop complaining and just be a better person. How hard can it be? So, look, we've done a bit of etiquette now, so we'll move on to some tactics for a bit. First tactic is actually poor etiquette. This is a bad piece of etiquette, but a good piece of pub tactics. So, When you get to last orders, order a double round. I think we've all done that at some point. You've been in the pub a long time. You want to stay in the pub a long time more, and they're closing up. It might be too early to close, and you haven't really got your night started. So what you do, last orders comes around, you go to the bar and you get 2 rounds in. As such, you then got time to drink 2 drinks before close rather than just one. And if you even don't want that second drink, it's better to have it than not have it. Double orders at last orders, it's a great tactic. Problem is, the reason it's poor etiquette is because it does piss off the staff. But honestly, look, they're there to work, so work pisses everybody off. So look, fuck them and get a double order in at last orders. Makes perfect sense to me. And by double order, I don't mean like a double gin and tonic. I mean 2 gin and tonics, or maybe if you're going to be out there, 2 double gin and tonics, like a fucking hero. Go with that. So look, more tactics. Play a game that you're good at in the pub with someone. So that might be spoofing, it might be fives, it might be cards, it might be table football, it might be pool, it might be I Spy, whatever fucking game you're good at. Play it with someone and play it for rounds. Say, if I beat you at spoof, or if I beat you at table football, you have to get the next round. Good tactics. You can save yourself some money. Might as well call me the money saving expert guy. Like, play a game you're good at and you will be able to make some money back. I don't see a reason why anyone could do that unless you're shit at everything. If you are shit at everything, then potentially you losing loads of rounds to somebody else and you have to keep buying their rounds might make you get better. It might motivate you to get better at spoofing or get better at pool. So really, that's a win-win tactic. Don't feel bad for your friend if they have to buy you loads of drinks because you're better at a game than them. It will drive them on to be a more successful person in future. We're going in for a double tactic now, and it's all around using the bathroom in pubs. It's all around going for a piss. As people know that alcohol dehydrates you, and the way it dehydrates you is it makes you need a piss. So you piss loads, and sometimes I go for a piss in a pub, and then I come back to the bar. And pretty much by the time I'm back to the bar, I need to piss again. It's an age-old problem. So, first tactic is hold on to your first piss for as long as you can, because that one's never as bad as the other one. So, if you're drinking, don't have a piss too early. Hold on to that first one for as long as you possibly can, because it will help you in the long run. Because once that first one's happened, it's over. You're going to be back and forth to the toilet all the time, and that sort of feeds into etiquette, because if you're holding on to that first one, then you're not taking up valuable space in the loos. Particularly for ladies who, there's always limited space. You don't want to keep running back and forth. You don't want to have to keep getting in there and wasting somebody else's time. Someone who is waiting to use the loo while you're in there because you're unnecessarily being there because you're not on long enough to your first piss. That's poor etiquette and poor tactics. It's a 2-in-1. And no one wants to queue at a urinal either. It's a real pain. I was gonna say pain in the arse, but it's more of a pain in the fucking urethra. Like, you don't have to sit there and lose valuable drinking time while you're waiting for somebody else to have a piss because they open the floodgates too early. You don't want pricks like that. So hold on to that first piss for a long time, and just to connect that, be prepared to piss once you get there. Don't fucking fanny around. Unzipping and undoing your belt. Your belt should be undone, and you should be, sort of, I guess, partially unzipped by the time you reach the urinal. You should be ready to piss once you get there. And also, fucking standing there for hours using your phone at the urinal. Poor fucking etiquette. Poor tactics. Poor etiquette and poor tactics in one if you do that. If you got to minimise the amount of time you're spending in the toilet. A, as an etiquette thing to everybody else so they can use it if they want. And B, so you can maximise your drinking time in the pub. You can maximise your time socialising with your friends. Be prepared to piss. Don't waste time at the urinal. Don't be a prick to others and yourself. That's what I'm getting at with that. And speaking of bodily functions, we've all been sick from alcohol, I think. Everyone's done it. We've all been there. If you feel like you're going to be sick, go home. The tactical chunder is a myth. People who are sick and then carry on drinking are drinking for the sake of it. You can't have fun after you've been sick. It can't happen. Take yourself home, and no one wants to fucking clean up your sick. All right, it's poor etiquette to be sick like on the floor in a pub or like all over the toilets. Like, be a fucking grown up and just go home and do it. There's no need for you to stay out once you drunk yourself to the point of vomiting. Your body is literally going like, no more of this. This is fucking poison. It's going to kill us. That is what being sick is from alcohol. It doesn't make you any sort of like a better person to drink through being sick. Fucking go home. But if you really can't wait, maybe if you've had like, I don't know, a shot of tequila or a shot of Jaeger bombs or whatever it might be, or you've had to down a pint and it just pushed you over the edge and you have to be sick. Be sick in the toilet. By the toilet, I mean in the toilet bowl. Not in the urinal, not on the floor in the toilet, not against the back of the toilet, not on the floor. Not in the sink, in the toilet bowl, and then flush it down. If you make a mess, clean it up. It's not that hard. And that's really for emergencies only. If it's a real emergency, you can even make it there. In a nice pint glass. I have a friend, sick in his pint glass after I bought him a shot of tequila. Filled it up to the brim perfectly. Doesn't create any mess. You're not being sick all over the fucking table or over the floor in the pub. Doesn't have to ruin it for the staff. Good etiquette, that. Be sick in the right place. Don't fuck it up for other people. And you just make yourself unpopular. If you're known as the person who vomited on the table in the pub, no one's ever really going to respect you for that. So, but if you're known as the person who was sick in a pint glass immaculately, that's good kudos. Worth thinking about. Be sick in good places if you have to, but really only if you have to. If you don't have to, fucking go home and stop being a prick. Massive etiquette thing here. Massive etiquette thing. The biggest, maybe even the biggest etiquette thing, which is if you buy snacks, like be it crisps or pork scratchings or salted pretzels or fucking dog treats, I don't know what you're buying. If you buy them, share them with other people. There's nothing worse than that twat in the pub who gets crisps, puts them on the table with the drinks, and then when you try and take one, gets annoyed. Like, it's not like a fucking beef Wellington, is it? You're not having a big spoonful of his spag bowl. It's only a fucking crisp. And if you do buy crisps and you come down and you sit down and you open them up for everybody and you share them, everyone's gonna fucking love you for that. Everyone loves that guy who shares his crisps with everybody after you've had a few drinks. I'd actually say that the same people who don't get their round in or get their round in last are the ones who don't share their snacks. They're just selfish cunts. And really, when the revolution comes, those are the sort of people who are going to get beheaded. That's when the Alfology2 revolution comes around, they get beheaded. Look, I don't make the rules, or maybe I do. If I did make the rules, they're the people I'd behead. Share your snacks, get your round in. Makes sense. More etiquette, which is don't make your friends sit outside just so you can smoke. Like, it's such poor form. Like, fair enough, go outside, and if they want to come with you whilst you're having a cigarette, that's cool. But on a fucking cold winter's night, I've had to sit outside so many times because we had to get a table outside so people could smoke when there was a nice fucking warm pub with a roaring fire inside. Such poor etiquette. The smokers are the bad guys. But they think that they're the leaders of the situation. No, we sit inside in the warm. You go outside and do your fucking habit outside. You can be cold if you want to, but don't make everybody else cold, on account of your addiction. It's not that fucking difficult, is it? Drives me fucking mad. I know there's laws against smoking in pubs, but that's probably a good thing as well, because you should be able to have a quiet drink without your pint tasting like ash. So smokers, by all means go outside, or only hang out with other smokers if you want to sit outside and smoke all night. Don't bring along non-smokers. It's not that difficult. It's no skin off your nose as a smoker to be sat inside and then go outside for a cigarette if you need one. But to make poor non-smokers with no addictions just sit outside freezing their fucking tits off is poor. Obviously, there's in the summer it's a little bit different, so I'll let you off there. But in the winter, don't be pricks. Sit inside. So we've had a few etiquette ones now, and I'll bring it back to tactics. So this tactic, it's a bit fucking stupid, but we'll run with it. So you can avoid an early death by eating the fruit that you get in your drink. Some people might say that you could avoid an early death by not drinking at all, but I don't see it that way. If you get a gin and tonic with a nice slice of grapefruit, eat the slice of grapefruit. Jack Daniels and Coke with a bit of lemon, eat the lemon. There's all sorts of nice vitamins and, antioxidants and good stuff in fruit. So if you get a fruity drink, eat the fruit. It'll make you live longer. Every little helps. It's the aggregation of marginal gains. If you eat every single little bit of fruit you've got in a drink, over the course of a lifetime, it's probably like 100 bits of fruit. It's 100 extra bits of fruit. You might live for an extra couple of hours at the end of your life. Worth considering. In terms of tactics as well, it's not all about living forever. It's about the perception of people have of you at the bar, and that perception really goes down if you drink out of a massive fucking bucket of a gin and tonic glass, or if you drink out of a really tall, slim lager glass. Drink out of a normal sized pint glass. Drink out of a normal sized gin and tonic glass. It doesn't make you cool to be drinking out these ridiculous looking fucking modern glasses. It makes you look like a twat. And in the future, when everything's gone back to normal and people drink out of normal glasses, everyone's going to look back on your pictures of you with your enormous bucket of gin and tonic sat next to your boyfriend with his fucking 3 foot tall slim lager glass, and they're going to think that you are wankers. They're going to go, that generation of people were a complete bunch of fucking pricks. So don't do it. Doesn't make you any cooler to do it. So be a proper person and drink out of a proper glass. And on to my final point for this, that God, that's a loud bird. Did you hear that? I don't know if the microphone picked that up, but fuck me, that was a loud bird. Anyway, lots of loud birds. Fucking sat outside in the middle of Australia. What do you fucking expect? The last one is an etiquette one, which really grinds my gears when people get fucking well left about this. That, if someone is served before you and you feel like they shouldn't have been served before you, you feel like you should have been served at that point, don't fucking kick up a fuss. Just take the hit. The barman probably didn't know. The person probably didn't know. All is fair in love and war when it comes to queuing for a bar. It's not the barman's job to keep an eye on every single person and the order at which they got to the bar. If someone gets a drink before you and you feel aggrieved, just fucking take the hit. It's not the end of the world, is it? People get so angry about it, particularly fucking old men. Old men get really fucking wound up about that. Normally because the alcohol is probably the only thing they got left in their life that hasn't left them. So they want to get it as quickly as possible. I very much doubt there are any old men listening, to be honest, but if you are one of those people who has a go at bar staff and fellow drinkers, if they, because you didn't feel like you got a drink at the right time, stop being a fucking prick. Have some good proper pub etiquette. Let it go, because the chances are you've been served before somebody else previously. It all balances out in the end. All is fair in love and pubs. So there we go. Look, so that's the end of my list. Sorry about today's podcast. It's been a little bit stop-start. I've had planes flying overhead and insects flying in my face and stuff. So there's a lot of cuts in here, and it's going to be a little bit choppy, but I hope you'll forgive me. Next week it should be back to some sort of semblance of normal. Don't know what the plan is for the podcast in the next few weeks, because I'm up in the air. I'm in the process of moving down to New Zealand, and I'm in Australia for a few weeks, so who knows what is going to happen with that, but I will keep you updated nonetheless. If you enjoy it, enjoy the podcast as a person, you can tell other people. If you do tell someone and they say, how do I listen? Take their phones and subscribe on the podcast app on their phone. Don't give them an opportunity to not listen to it. Subscribe, all that jazz as usual, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much. Cheers.